We have been closely following the president's tour daily. Now let's take a look back at some of the highlights of that trip. Kim Hyesung helps us with a recap of the economic and diplomatic issues that he discussed and some of the agreements reached during that tour.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in wrapped up his 8-day three-nation tour of Southeast Asia by announcing his administration's new southern policy.
한국 정부는 아세안과의 협력 관계를 획기적으로 발전시켜 나가기 위한 신남방 정책을 강력하게 추진하고자 합니다. 상품 교육 중심이었던 관계에서 기술과 문화예술, 인적 교류로 확대하겠습니다.
The Moon administration is the first South Korean government to officially declare a foreign policy targeting ASEAN with the goal of forging a shared community of people, peace, and prosperity.
This is in line with the Moon administration's emphasis on balanced diplomacy, along with the new Northern Policy announced in September, which covers the Russian Far East and Central Asia. The new Southern Policy aims to expand Korea's trade links with countries in ASEAN, reducing the economic reliance on the U.S. and China, a must amid increasingly complicated geopolitical dynamics in the Asia-Pacific.
ASEAN, a region with a GDP of $2.6 trillion and home to some 630 million people, is Korea's second largest trading partner. The trade volume between Korea and ASEAN amounted to $118.8 billion as of 2016, just behind the $210 billion of trade between Korea and China. And experts say there's more room for trade with Southeast Asia.
The two economies are complementary. South Korea has got the technology and marketing power and so on, and these developing economies got cheap labor, skilled labor, and a lot of resource. If these two elements are combined, they have a great potential for future.
From supporting the 16-nation regional comprehensive economic partnership trade deal to signing bilateral deals with countries like Indonesia, the Moon administration announced its goal of increasing Korea's bilateral trade volume with ASEAN to $200 billion by 2020. But the tour is about more than just trade. During his trip, President Moon held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang on top of meeting other Southeast Asian leaders.
President Moon helped improve bilateral ties with China, which had been strained for over a year due to THAAD. By normalizing relations with China while expanding ties with ASEAN countries, South Korea can have more leverage in resolving the North Korea crisis.
ASEAN, a region that boasts peace as a nuclear weapon-free zone, has repeatedly urged Pyongyang to completely abandon its nuclear program and speaks as one voice in the international community, such as at the G20 and the UN.
President Moon clearly stated the importance of peacefully resolving the North Korea threat at the APEC and the East Asia Summit and rallied support from ASEAN countries, all of whom have diplomatic ties with the North. Boosting relations with ASEAN diplomatically can help South Korea contain North Korea or bring it to the negotiating table.
From trade and security to culture, President Moon Jae-in laid out South Korea's shared vision with ASEAN during his maiden trip to the region. But for the vision to become reality, experts say the administration should come up with follow-up measures to support Korean companies and enhance mutual understanding between Korea and ASEAN.
The Moon administration needs to take a long-term perspective when developing ties with ASEAN. Not just the kind of sales diplomacy that focuses on short-term investment or trade, but one that focuses on people-to-people exchanges and builds a mutually beneficial foundation.
Kim Hyesung, Arirang News.